What if every fall had actually been a push forward? And if every stumble were silently sculpting your most lucid self? Most people walk in fog. They stumble, complain, and ask why the ground is so uneven. The Stoics, and you from now on, perceive something else. There is no loose stone on the soul's path. No tear is wasted. No delay is irrelevant. Even when nothing seems to make sense, there is a design being drawn in the dark, a plan revealing itself as time, with its invisible chisel, removes the excess and leaves the essential. While many curse chants, the serene gaze gives thanks for what arrives, not out of submission but out of wisdom. Everything teaches, everything prepares, everything reveals. Today, change the lens, not the eyes of haste or fear, but the eyes of one who knows that nothing is in vain. When that certainty rests inside, anxiety gives way to presence, chaos finds direction, and even pain gains dignity. Go to the comments and write, "I trust my path." It's not just a sentence, it's a pact with lucidity. It's choosing to live awake, to accept with courage, and to act with intention. Write it now, make it real. The wisdom behind the unexpected happens when we grasp that there is a silent order in what looks random. At first sight, certain movements of life seem cruel or disconnected. The mind wants labels, explanations, control. However, some events refuse immediate translation. They arrive as riddles, turn our small order inside out, and push us into regions where the ego no longer knows how to answer. There begins the call of living philosophy. The universe does not speak in words, but in events. When a plan collapses, when someone leaves, when an obstacle paralyzes, something deeper whispers, "Pay attention." The mind, addicted to the immediate, often calls precision bad luck and calls reorganization chaos. But nothing is random in a cosmos that sustains cycles, orbits, and rhythms with an exactness beyond our gaze. The life pulsing in you is part of this same cadence, even when, on the surface, everything seems out of time. The Stoic antidote to the anguish of the inexplicable is active acceptance, not resignation, but conscious courage. To accept is to trust that there is meaning even when it cannot yet be seen. Epictetus reminded us, "We do not control events, only our interpretation. We were trained to plan, pursue goals, and conquer. Few taught us what to do when everything falls apart. When the road cracks, when love is torn away, when life imposes its silence, we discover that what we called an interruption is the path itself. Error can be correction. Loss can be release. Failure can be a secret passage into a more integral version of ourselves. In the eye of pain, seeing is hard. The mind shouts, the heart bleeds, the body resists. Yet philosophy whispers first, what time confirms later. Each experience has its place in the drawing of your evolution. What today looks like injustice may tomorrow reveal itself as the necessary rupture for the birth of new consciousness. The serene gaze does not demand understanding everything. It stands before mystery with respect and firmness, trusting that even in the dark there is direction. So stop fighting the inevitable. Life was not made to obey our scripts. It has its own plot and invites us to dance with a larger movement. When we stop trying to control every detail, space opens for what was invisible. Coherence appears in what seemed confused, beauty in what hurt, meaning in what we did not yet understand. Remember, old pains became strength. Detours and closed doors pushed you to places you wouldn't have chosen and yet were essential. Nothing was for nothing. No tear was lost. The tapestry only reveals itself from afar. Up close we see knots. Trust the tapestry, even when you only see the knots. If today you live doubt, loss, or rupture, it's not punishment, it's refinement. Perhaps something needs to die so that something else can be born. Perhaps what you called failure is the push you needed to leave a narrow place. Perhaps life is saying, trust, even without understanding. That trust is already freedom. If each stumble is the right step toward your purpose, what seemed like an end becomes a path, and what seemed like emptiness becomes the fertile silence where something new is born. Life does not waste suffering. Everything it touches, it transforms, if you allow it. When life teaches with pain, it doesn't shout, it educates. Its deepest lessons rarely arrive dressed in joy. They come silent, wrapped in loss, with the eyes of the unexpected. In the impact, they seem unfair. With time, they reveal themselves as disguised masters. Nothing that wounds you arrives by accident. What hurts pushes you inward. The obstacle is not a failure of the universe, it is precision. It appears at the instant you must stop postponing and break the cycle that no longer serves you. Ancient lucidity saw pain not as punishment, but as polishing. Everything that happens suits the whole, and us parts of it. When we accept that each stumble has a defined place in the architecture of existence, we stop resisting what forms us. Suffering ceases to be something that happens and becomes a work done in us. Each blow becomes a tool, each tear a baptism, each loss a necessary pruning. If something crushes you, it touched a vulnerable point, either a belief that imprisons you or a fortress under construction. Adversity is a mirror, no masks, no persona. Comfort preserves, pain reveals. Like a tree in drought digging deeper roots, we are pushed inward when everything outside threatens to collapse. And there, in the center of night, power lights up. Difficulties don't define, they unveil. The mistake isn't falling, the mistake is refusing the learning. The true warrior is not the one who never bleeds, but the one who stays standing when the ground shakes. So, facing pain, change the question. What did you come to teach me? Where there was only a wound, wisdom is born. Some pains confuse you now, and later show themselves as bridges. Do not see trials as punishment. See them as steps. What burns now will be scar, and every scar reminds you that you lived, learned, and grew. Interpretation is your tool. It can turn stone into foundation, falling into impulse, pain into direction. The encounters that write us happen when brief presences transform decades. People who arrive like a whisper and, when leaving, leave an echo that changes our voice, our rhythm, our gaze. No one crosses your path by accident. Every person, every word, every silence has a specific place on the soul's trail. There is an invisible choreography uniting stories, even when you don't see the threads. The other is a mirror, sometimes reflecting the beauty you forgot, sometimes revealing the shadow you avoided. Joy, tenderness, inspiration ignite what was already alive in you. Pain, rejection, conflict show wounds that ask for care. It's not the other who controls you, but the reaction you choose. Every encounter is a chance for self-knowledge. The one who criticizes you reveals your dependence on external approval. The one who challenges you trains your patience. The one who supports you confirms you are worthy of love. Even those who hurt us have a function in our growth. Instead of judging, observe what is awakened, and which part of you asks for maturity. Some arrive as shelter, others as storm. Both teach. Time doesn't measure depth. Loves that last days mark forever. Friendships born in a glance cross oceans. Antagonists make us grow as no master would. Farewells often liberate. The friend who walks away, the love that ends, the relative who disappoints, all push you inward and restore your autonomy. Read every bond as a message. The difficult person is your daily training. The loving partner is your living reminder of gratitude. The stranger who crosses your path lights a direction. No interaction is small. Go to the comments and write, "I am grateful for every encounter that transforms me." It's not just gratitude, it's a commitment to awareness. The invisible rhythm of things demands humility. We are not owners of time. However much we plan, life dances to its own tempo, and it is never late. Nothing arrives early, Nothing arrives late. When this descends from concept to heart, a serenity is born that no rushed achievement can give. We want fruits at the instant of sowing, roads on the first step, answers before the questions are ripe. Life does not bargain with haste. Perfect timing does not cater to desires, it attends to needs. The love you ask for may require that you learn to love yourself first. The opportunity you beg for may demand a courage that still germinates. The recognition you seek may depend on a humility that only comes after the fall. Receive what comes with serenity and you will see it could not have been different. Each stage is sacred, each delay, preparation, each no, a secret reorganization. Nature teaches no flower opens in despair. Deep roots ask for time, and they sustain for a lifetime. Impatience steals clarity. Obsession with the future blinds us to the gifts of now. Patience is not folding your arms. It is walking firmly without demanding shortcuts. What is yours is already on its way, and you are being prepared to receive it. Comparison is an illusion. Each person has a cycle. What looks like slowness is often depth. When the time comes, everything fits like a piece, finally finding its place. Breathe. The universe does not err. What is coming has not gotten lost. It is aligning you within so that, when it arrives, it finds someone whole. The value of falls appears when we look at failure without the label of the end. Failure is not ruin. It is realignment. Life corrects our route through stumbles, not maps. Plans that fall apart, expectations that collapse, doors that close. All this steers you away from what is not yours. It isn't rejection, it's adjustment. Even detours are part of the road. The obstacle is often the path in disguise. Frustrations clear excess. Mistakes remove what had no root. Failure is a mirror. It shows what we cling to out of fear or vanity and what we can rebuild when everything falls. How many times did failure open doors? How many painful farewells returned your freedom? How many dismissals pushed you toward what you truly wanted? Failure does not steal. It returns you to yourself. The stories that inspire you were written with losses and closed doors. The difference is not luck, it's interpretation. It is not falling that diminishes. It is refusing to learn. Greatness is not in the glitter of success, but in the steadiness of those who stand back up. The soul is tested in the fall, and character appears in overcoming. When something doesn't go as expected, ask, what is this trying to show me? That question is worth more than 1,000 pieces of advice. It turns loss into purpose, falling into fertile ground, pain into direction. Life does not want you on the floor, but sometimes it is on the floor that true structure rises. The silent call of the universe manifests in discrete repetitions, a number that insists, a phrase that returns, a name, a symbol. Eyes trained in haste don't see. Those who slow down perceive. It's not superstition, it's listening to what vibrates between events. Chance is the appearance of an order we haven't understood yet. Synchronicity is the echo of the state of the soul. When we are attentive, life returns signals of what we carry within. A song at the exact instant, a forgotten book that answers the question, someone who appears and says the precise phrase. None of this is just coincidence. They are stitches of the invisible. Everything changes, but what gives meaning to movement is the way we interpret. Synchronicity invites, it doesn't impose. It's the breeze that turns the sail, but only for those who hoisted them. If you live closed, it passes by. If you wake up, the pattern appears behind the fog. The wind only favors those who know where they're going. Those who find silence within find answers outside. Signs don't replace action, they light the way. Ignoring them is staying on autopilot. Listening to them is walking with company. Once you notice, you no longer feel alone. There is something greater stitching your story with wisdom. The whisper of wounds asks for the courage to listen. Most people silence pain with distractions. What isn't heard becomes shadow and returns stronger. Pain is language, a map drawn by the invisible. What wounds points. What throbs indicates. What is in the way becomes the way. Seeing pain as an enemy prolongs the drama. Recognizing it as process opens the portal of healing. Suffering amplifies when we resist it, and softens when we listen with honesty. Think of your pains, losses, abandonments, failures. At the time, everything was night. Later, through the cracks, light entered. Suffering is a demanding school. It removes excess, returns essence. Masks fall, distractions lose meaning. What is true emerges. Virtues sleep in calm seas and awaken in storms. Do not romanticize pain. Give it the place of teacher. Every tear carries a message. If words destroy you, perhaps it hurts what you believe about yourself. If loss rips you apart, perhaps it's time to learn to let go. If failure paralyzes you, your worth cannot depend on results. What is unbearable today may cradle tomorrow's resilience. No one crosses life unscathed. Those who listen to their own pain cross whole. Go to the comments and write, "I listen to my pain's voice," and turn it into strength. It's a beginning, a pact with lucidity. When the unpredictable teaches, it rarely asks permission. It breaks the door, undoes scripts, flips certainties. We resist. Why now? Why me? There is something sacred here. What pulls us off a pre-written route awakens us. The unexpected is not a flaw in the journey. It reminds us that control is illusion, and in the absence of control, essence appears. Often, what looks like loss is protection. What sounds like chaos is realignment. The threat is a disguised blessing. Routine gives the sensation of stability. Without awareness, it becomes prison. The unforeseen breaks the spell, wakes us up, forces us to re-evaluate what we took for granted. It doesn't come to destroy, but to rebuild, even if at first it looks like collapse. The invitation is not to avoid it, it's to welcome it. Receiving each fact as if we had chosen it changes everything. Surprise stops being an enemy and becomes a teacher. It's not easy. It confronts our obsession with control. But it offers what no routine offers, real transformation. Chaos is often a new order arranging itself. The end is the beginning of another cycle. Choose to turn surprises into wisdom, detours into learning, losses into redemption. Preparing for the only constant is choosing change. The space that loss opens is the ground where beginnings sprout that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. We fear losing the familiar, the beloved, what gives us the feeling of control. When something is taken from us, a person, a phase, stability, it seems a part of us disappears with it. But life does not remove without preparing what will come. Everything we have is on loan from nature. She can take it back at any time. Hard to swallow, liberating to live. Excessive attachment breeds suffering. Acceptance returns peace. Loss does not punish. It displaces. It clears what no longer serves and prepares the soil for rebirth. A relationship ending can open a reunion with yourself. A job ending can ignite vocation. A closed phase can reveal strength. There is no reconstruction without demolition. Pain exists, but it can become a portal. Detachment is not coldness, it is wisdom. We are not what we possess. When everything changes, essence remains. Losing is also a way forward. Absence teaches the value of what was present. Gratitude matures in the heart that accepts impermanence. Life's beauty intensifies when we know nothing lasts forever. Loss strips illusions, topples false safeties, and places us before the essential. What really matters? Who are we when what we love departs? Crying is release, sadness is a tide that passes, and afterwards strength, clarity, and maturity emerge. Detachment doesn't kill feeling. It ends clinging to what cannot remain. Life doesn't take to reduce you, it takes to make room. Often, only later do we see the road that opened. Letting go is ceasing to fear the flow. What goes had fulfilled its function. What breaks needed to break. Our value is not in what we have, but in who we become when everything changes. The power of personal purpose beats like a quiet ember. It doesn't come from others' expectations. It's not a copy. It emerges from meeting what you are at the core. Living without purpose is wandering. Living with purpose is walking with meaning. Greatness is not applause, but fidelity to the role that is yours in the whole. Each part exists to fulfill a function, and in the virtuous exercise of that function lies deep joy. To be happy is not to obtain everything you desire, but to align with what you came to realize. Your gifts aren't random. What you do well, what excites you without effort, what connects you to the world, all points to mission. Talents and sensitivities are inner compasses. To teach, to care, to inspire, to build, to listen. Purpose reveals itself when you place your gifts at the service of something larger than ego. No one flourishes against their nature. Another person's road, however brilliant, won't serve you if it doesn't echo your inner truth. Purpose is not a scripted role. It's a story written step by step. Choices, renunciations, yeses to the essential. Often it appears blurry and by living gains contour, errors, falls, successes and challenges, all part of discovery. Accepting the place life entrusted to you and inhabiting it with dignity is not resignation. It is responsible freedom. Living with purpose turns simple gestures into sacred acts. It doesn't matter if your task looks small to the world. Greatness is intention. There will be challenges, saying no to what doesn't resonate, holding steady when results delay, starting over as many times as needed. That's when clarity thickens. A daily question, what am I here for? It returns you to center. A life without purpose forgets itself. A life with purpose leaves a trail, not of fame, but of truth. Legacy is not a sum of things. It is density of meaning. Waiting to act better is a rare art in a world that measures value by speed. There are invisible advances, silent periods that are preparation. The silence of waiting, though uncomfortable, is a teacher. Time has its cycle. Pushing it brings frustration. After harvest, the land rests. The soul also needs pauses to integrate what it has lived and strengthen itself for what will come. The pause is not absence. It is a fertile field where patience gains body, resilience takes root, faith ripens. When nothing moves outside, something aligns within. The foundations of character consolidate in the apparent emptiness, roots before fruits. How often has haste led us into someone else's roads, misaligned relationships, opportunities that pulled us from what matters? Conscious pause is moving forward with clarity. It distinguishes impulse from intuition, lack from vocation. Do not wish things to happen as you want. Wish them to happen as they need to. That demands trust. Life knows the right time. The most powerful action is sometimes non-action, the stillness that welcomes, observes, listens. While the world idolizes haste, silence returns us to depth. There we revisit values, clean illusions, and refocus. Whoever has patience has what is needed, because nothing grand flowers without time. Waiting is the winter that prepares spring, the womb where dreams mature, the interval between notes that lets music exist. Don't fear the times when nothing happens. They are part of the plan. Purpose needs roots to withstand winds. What looks like delay today will be foundation tomorrow. If you are waiting, remember, life is not late. It is preparing you. Do not rush the river. Learn to flow with it. Silence doesn't punish, it calls. Looking back with clarity is reconciliation with your own story. We avoid the gesture for fear of finding pain, twisted choices, lost people. Memory, guided by emotion, distorts. Sometimes paints with nostalgia, other times covers with regret. But when you revisit your past with understanding, not judgment, peace is born. Nothing happened out of place. What seemed absurd then often reveals its function at a distance. Each loss, mistake, separation, and missed chance played a formative role. Changing the lens turns failure into redirection, punishment into protection. The past stops being a weight and becomes a teacher. How many times did we insist on staying where life had already signaled it was time to go? Forced to let go, we later understood it was a push toward more authentic places. Be gentle with who you were. Old decisions were made with the awareness and resources you had then. Demanding perfection from your past self denies the human process. Gratitude, not because everything was easy, but because everything served. Gratitude transmutes harsh memories into energy. The past is not a house to live in, it's ground to learn from. When we understand that even chaos had logic and ruptures had purpose, we stop seeing ruins and start seeing foundations. Time's clarity doesn't erase what was, it illuminates it. If everything that past has built you, you can trust what will come. If something still weighs, revisit it with new eyes. Not to reopen the wound, but to extract wisdom. The past is unchangeable, but it is reinterpretable. And that transforms your life. Congratulations on arriving here. It means you chose to grow. If this video spoke to you, comment gratitude so I know you stayed until the end. If you haven't subscribed to the Philosophical Owl yet, do it now and share with someone who needs this breath of lucidity. Stoicism is dense with teachings for everyday life. Here you'll find it in living, poetic, and practical language. In the description, I'm leaving 2 sibling videos full of wisdom so you can continue the path. Until next time, and keep this inside. The universe doesn't waste steps.